I don't know. I turned the camera on, I don't know, 30 seconds later, and you dropped like 7 F-bombs within like a minute because you're still in army mode. And you use that as a filler. Instead of, you're like, like,
Listening to the Bent Motorsports Podcast with the owner of Bent Motorsports, David Beckett, and his crew, Jacob Hunsinger, James Hernandez, and Jake Russo. Listen in as the guys discuss all things motorsports, including tech tips and current shop projects.
Sorry about that. I'm working on it.
It happens
right? I'm
sometimes.
working
It
on
happens. It's just verbal diarrhea.
Yeah, I mean, I was gonna go crash my car into a bunch of boulders later. I was a little like nervous.
Yeah, you got to be on edge a little.
Yeah, sorry.
Were you a little antsy before?
I was like, hopefully I'm not one of those guys. Like, really, you brought your shit with 33s on it, and now we're gonna have to pull you through for the whole day. So I thought I really don't give a shit about any of you guys. It was more so like Brian, because he's hardcore and smokes cigars and throws boulders all day. So I didn't want
that guy
him.
is badass. Isn't
That guy
he?
is hardcore. I mean, he's just
Yeah.
never
He came-
stops.
He
Never
came out of
stops.
nowhere. I didn't see him, and we were like trying to get up. It's the gatekeeper at the other side, right? On the other side of John
Yeah,
Bull.
yeah, it's
like
kinda
kind
like
of the entrance
We
to
would
it.
consider it normally. That's where we exit John Bull because
Oh,
we usually
okay.
go the other way. But we did it. I guess we're calling it backwards, but that's backwards from what we normally do.
Yeah. He just like came out of nowhere. I'm like trying to spot Jake. Like David's helping me out because I don't really know what I'm doing. And like all of a sudden this dude comes up. I'm like, God, it smells like cigars, you know? And I turn around and he's just like got one in his mouth and he's just like running around like heavy breathing, just inhaling, exhaling, inhaling, exhaling. And I was like, damn, dude, this guy's not messing around. I didn't even know who he was.
Yeah.
He was like scotch set up on a boulder or something.
Yeah.
Just like, yep, I'll leave that there for now. And just like kept just hucking these things like massive
That
boulders.
was whiskey.
Killing it.
Or yeah, whiskey, whatever it was. But I was like, who the fuck is this guy?
Yeah. So he's badass. So
Just
him,
a
I was-
man in the
didn't-
woods.
Yeah,
definitely
straight
a man's
up.
man.
He looks like he should have been in like a Chevy commercial or something. Like,
Right?
You know, like throwing fucking wood logs in the back of a truck, just like Ford tough.
That was funny. I remember when we were on the Rubicon with him, and Jake and I were like, "Yeah, I wonder, if we're gonna see a bear, and what about these bears?" And he's like, "You don't got to worry about the bears. You can hear those things coming a mile away. It's the fucking cats are gonna kill you." I'm like, "Wait, what do you mean cats? What do you mean a cat's gonna kill me?" Because you don't know, a mountain lion's there until it's got its mouth around your neck, and I'm like, "I want to go home." What the fuck?
you don't mess with big cats. My grandpa taught me that. We were bow hunting one time, and we were in a deer blind when I was 11. Saw a big cat, and I was like, we were real quiet, didn't know that we were there, and I was like, Grandpa, are you gonna shoot it? And he looked me dead in the eyes and was just like, you don't mess with big cats. And I was like, okay, good to know,
got it.
Grandpa.
Good
He was a
job,
very
man.
jokey dude. Had very dry humor, but he was not being funny then at all. And I was like, got it.
He was
I
the dude
pick
with
up on
7
your
mil, right?
Yeah, that's how I
Yeah.
inherited my Mauser.
Yes.
Which, if you're gonna own one gun, might as well own a cannon, right?
Yeah, take him down. Anything. So, yeah, it was a good time.
We all had fun. Turns out, yes. Actually, I already said yes.
What?
Nothing. Oh, now I can sidestep it. You'll find out in the video, everybody. We're coming out with a video of our trip up to Big Bear. We've got photos that we're posting on Instagram. We got all kinds of fun stuff that we're doing over here about motorsports. So check it out.
That's
Yeah,
a
so
good
we're not going
idea.
to talk about it too much because it's more of a visual thing.
Yeah, you
You'll have a
know.
much better time watching the video than listening to us try to recap
We're
it.
like, haha, we were on the trail.
We drove over some rocks.
Oh, there were rocks.
Then we smashed the body panels into the rocks.
Boom.
And then we came back.
Whoa.
And Brian's cool. That's it.
Oh, Trailmaster Brian.
No, not that one.
Trailmaster Brian, what's up?
So what are we going to talk about today, guys? If we're not, let's not talk about the
Well,
video, right?
We've got a couple of things on deck. We've got a car of the week. This week's car of the week is the Buick Grand National.
Just so you know, I did zero research on car of the week.
I know.
No homework.
Zero.
If you don't know anything about the Grand National, then you probably
don't-
shouldn't be here.
No, I don't know specs on the Grand National. I do know the Grand National. Everybody loves that car.
Why?
It's because it's ugly as fuck, but it's super fast.
Whoa, what?
Yeah, you think that's a pretty car?
No, the Buick Grand National is a beautiful
It is-
automobile.
Dude, it's like
I
a
wouldn't-
fucking Volvo.
I wouldn't use beautiful
My first-
on it. It looks kind of like rugged and hefty, you know?
Sick
Like
is what you meant.
it looks really sick. I wouldn't call it beautiful though.
You drive a 5 Series.
yeah,
You drive
'cause
an
it's-
80s
'cause it's
5
rugged.
Series.
Dude, that car is the classic example of, look, all we need is a vessel to put this engine in and to have a seat to carry people so it can go fast as fuck and race people. And so what's the minimalist thing we can do? Well, let's just make all these panels flat.
I'll tell you about some of
He's
my...
still talking about the 5 Series, by the way. He's not talking about the Grand National.
Some of my favorite cars are Volvos. My first car was a 940.
Look at shit.
And
Look at this
also
thing.
one of my
Fucking
dream
sweet.
tuner cars to own is a Commodore, Holden Commodore.
Those are
Nice.
I love those. I think they're amazing.
I love the mesh wheels that those things came with. Like they.
I mean, don't get me wrong. The Grand National is an appealing car, right? I get it. I get that. The only reason it's appealing is because it's fast and because it's gnarly, right? Because it's aggressive. If that thing had a 4-cylinder in it, you wouldn't give a shit.
Actually, there was one with a 4-cylinder
And
in
did
it.
you care about it?
No, yeah,
No.
really good.
No,
point.
nobody knows about it. It was one of the early Grand Nationals. It was just a trim package. It was the Buick LeSabre Grand National,
Oh.
and it was front wheel drive and had a 4-cylinder.
I love Buick LeSabres. I
No.
really do. We had a buddy in high school, and we had these little tiny dirt roads that went between houses. They were like little alleyways, but they weren't paved for some reason. They were just dirt. And so my buddy, we're like cooking through these things. It was right after it rained. One of them had like a no joke, like 2 foot deep, just trench in the middle of it. We hit that thing so freaking hard and just kept going. That thing just plowed right through it.
Yeah. All right, more fun facts. I have fun facts about the Grand National. If somebody will look up specs, we can get them there. It was originally developed actually off of a Boy Scout program. I believe Ken Baker is the man's name. Give me 1 second to double check that.
GNX, sick. Grand National GNX. 245 horsepower and 355 pound-feet of torque. That's rad.
How many? 255 foot-pound?
355.
Oh, 355.
Oh, yeah.
No way.
Torquey, man.
That's a torque monster.
Not bad for a V6.
So how many of you guys have driven one?
Dude, that's the same.
None of us.
That's the same
I have.
torque that my car
Was it a normal Grand National or a GNX?
It was black.
All black.
Yeah.
Wow, that must be the
that must have been
GNX.
really fast.
Nailed it. Back to my fun fact. Oh, wait, sorry. Can we hear about driving dynamics of the Buick Grand National?
Drove
real
like
quick?
a brick,
Like
right?
a fucking shit box. Straight was great. Anything else was dumb.
Oh, that's
I didn't
too.
get to get on it too much.
That's too bad.
I didn't get to drive it as spirited as I wanted to.
I mean, it is technically the only muscle car in my mind that is one. First of all, turbocharged.
Yeah.
And actually, that's a lie because nobody forget about Japanese muscle. All right.
Yeah.
I had more fun driving my Mach 1.
You had a Mach 1?
Yeah.
Go to hell.
73.
Have you ever?
Oh, that's the
it's
dumb one.
73.
Let me just throw that little fact in there.
Oh,
That
yeah.
was like
Hey.
the under your breath comment, like, yeah, it was
Talk
Mach
about
1s.
Talk about an ugly car.
Have
oh
you
my
ever
God.
driven back in your day at like 86 or 87? They had the turbo 2.3. It was the Mustang SVO. I think it was the SVO.
Fox body?
Yeah,
Fox
Yeah.
body.
Was that the
but
Fox
with the
body?
turbo 2.3.
Oh,
My buddy-
early
I'm-
Fox body.
Pretty sure that's the exact car my buddy had.
Did you drive that?
I drove in it. He didn't let anybody drive it.
Was it fast?
It was
Mm.
fast.
I have a friend like
matter
that.
of fact, matter of fact, one night late, he spun it out, leaving a buddy of ours' house. He was about a quarter of a mile away. Spun it out. This is before cell phones, right? Spun it out, and when he did that, he popped a tire, or did something, whatever, and it was like touching a guardrail, right? So it was like, but it was in the middle of the night. So he walked back to our buddy's house to call a tow truck, right? Didn't want to call his dad because bad idea.
Who would do that?
Yeah. And so then by the time he walks back over there, there's a cop there. And a cop is like, hey, is this your car? He's like, yeah, I just spun it out and I had to go back. And I called a tow truck. And he's like, oh, we got a tow truck coming. And here's your ticket for fleeing the scene of an accident.
Oh God, is
He's like, what? What do you mean fleeing the scene of it? It's the middle of fucking night. Nobody's out here. We're going to just stand around so you just happen to show up? No,
Oh,
dude,
yeah.
I walked to where I could get a phone and call somebody.
This wasn't computing until I remember you said this is before cell phones. I was like, wait, what?
Right? So, yeah,
Yeah.
so somebody else heard something and called the police, so they came to investigate. But anyways, long story short, I just thought it was pretty funny that not only did he fuck his car up that night, but then he had a ticket
Got it
for
impounded.
yeah. He was pissed.
Could the Fox bodies corner, or were they just straight line monsters as well?
From what I remember, he was trying to go around a corner when he did that. So I would say
No.
Got him.
they handled good.
Well, they make enough aftermarket support for it that you can make them corner.
Back
these
then,
days.
we were high school kids. We didn't have the money for that shit.
All right, back to fun facts. Which, by the way, big shout out to ButtonvilleBuickGMC.com for giving me this fun facts article that I'm currently paraphrasing for you. But yeah, it was a Boy Scout project.
Yeah.
Ken Baker, this guy who was a engineer at Buick GMC, decided to go to the Boy Scouts and expose them to automotive engineering through turbocharging a V6 engine in a Buick. And apparently turned out pretty good because then they were like, you know what? We should make this a car. So
that's how that engine was come about, huh?
thanks, Boy Scouts.
Yeah.
Boy Scouts of America. Everybody
they
sponsored by Boy
Yeah.
Scouts of America.
Ken Johnson.
Ken Baker.
Eagle Scout.
Ken Baker. Oh, Ken Baker. No, it's Ken Johnson.
It's Ken Johnson. He's
Yeah.
an Eagle Scout.
No, is he an Eagle Scout? Did he make it there? Marty said he didn't, and
It
Eric
shows. It really shows.
didn't. But Eddie did. No,
And-
Eddie did.
Oh, okay.
Eddie, and I know you're listening, Eddie. Congratulations, buddy. I know you're an Eagle Scout.
Woo!
Yeah.
I want to see the letter from the president.
1986. We've got the first year Buick bested the Corvette in
Driving.
base power, base model power. I was like, how do I put this? I'm like, in power stuff. So good job, Buick. There, you guys killed it there. Do we have more specs?
So what do you guys like about that car so much? Just that it's the sinisterness of it?
Honestly, it's one of my favorite cars.
Just the sinisterness.
Oh
of
my
it,
god,
right?
it's all black.
right.
I think it's. I
There's
think
red.
it was one of the. No,
There was red.
no, there's
No.
not.
No?
No, the
No.
Buick.
Are you sure?
Yeah, it came in whatever color you wanted as long as it was
Yes,
black.
there is red.
red is a color.
Red does exist.
I could have sworn those came in red too.
No,
No.
not at all. It's not a Grand National if it's not black. It was the first like murdered out production car,
Ooh, that's a good point.
which is awesome.
That's true.
It was a muscle car with a turbocharged V6, which was a big middle finger to muscle cars at the time.
Yeah, it was.
Because it's like, if you don't have a V8, you suck. And back in the 80s, turbos weren't as developed as they are today, which is funny because, of course, like the Japanese were just crushing it.
Well, now, and so how isn't that interesting that back then that was the middle finger to all the big V8 cars, and right now that's the new trend, right? Is
Exactly.
The
It took
EcoBoost V6 and stuff
Which,
that is going, hey man, we don't need the big V8 if we've got turbos.
and all of the Japanese manufacturers have been doing turbos in their cars since like the 80s. And so it took us 20, 30 years to catch up to that
40
norm.
But you say
Yeah,
catch
I
up to the
guess.
norm, but I disagree in that you can either do a turbo V6 or you can do a normally aspirated V8. It's just what's your choice. Do you want a turbo V6 or do you want a big V8? Right? It just depends. What do you want? You're going to get the same result in the end, right?
I think they roll with the flow pretty well too. It's like, okay, they've always done the turbo 4 bangers or turbo V6s or whatever, and those are great. And then the Americans, it's like, no, we just stick with V8s. That's why it was weird
Well, it
when
was cheaper. It's cheaper to make a normally aspirated V8 than it is to make a turbo car.
right? Way less that goes into it as far as I'm
Yeah.
concerned. I mean, you just look at how much turbos cost in general. You go to Garrett and you're not walking out of there with what, under $3,000, $2,000 probably.
Yeah, and I think technology has made the turbos easier to tune, right? So you can get some massive tunability now, right?
I mean, you get tunability back then.
So why don't we just do twin turboed V8s and just cut to the chase and do it
we
right?
do, baby, over here at Ben
Yeah.
Motorsports.
Take the best of both worlds, right?
Yeah. Well, we might soon. I'm working on it.
Let's hope.
TBD.
What do you guys think of the Camaro we got in the shop?
TBD. Oh my gosh, the
Who
Camaro.
needs turbos, you know?
Yeah, who needs turbos when you got a 383 stroker?
Thing is so snappy.
Yeah, we got this
Mhm.
'69 Camaro in the shop. It was restored in '08. Resto mod, right? It's got a 383 stroker. It's got a Tremec.
Yeah, I think it's a
Tremec,
5
like world class T5 or
It's the blackest car I've ever seen. It's like
It is a beautiful, beautiful
it's
paint.
So dark, I can't take a photo of it. It's like it just absorbs all the light around it. It's awesome.
It is pretty rad.
It is nice.
And I mean, it's a beautiful car right now as it is. It's a beautiful, beautiful car. And the customer wants to modernize it a bit. So we're going to put in a Gen 5 LT1. We're going to
Like we put in the mother of all defenders. If you guys didn't know that we
Yeah.
built that car, yeah, Ben Motorsports.
What's up? Like James throwing over the shout-outs over there.
Yeah.
And then it's got what's got in the rear? It's got a 9-inch in it though, right?
Yep.
It's got a 9-inch
Got a
single
Ford.
rib. Single rib.
Oh, it doesn't even have the
Yeah, I was
strong one.
cruising
Interesting.
around. Yeah.
I didn't see that. And then we're putting a full Ride Tech suspension in it, right? Because it's all stock.
It's all
Easy
leaf sprung
guy.
in the rear, but now it's going to be coilover converted 4-link.
Yeah.
Yeah, whatever the Ride. I didn't be honest with you. I haven't opened the Ride Tech box
It's a
that showed
7
up.
link.
That's
with
why-
the Watts link.
Russo is the suspension certified ASC technician.
Damn straight.
Not that David isn't actually also. David, come on.
I just didn't open the box yet.
I looked
so
on
I don't know
Google.
what one. See, the customer ordered all the stuff he wanted for the car, and it's showing up. So we opened the box. We're going to see what he ordered, and we're
It's
going to put it
great.
on the car.
There's probably, I would say, close to 20 boxes here. Like not just small boxes, but like
Oh
huge
yeah.
boxes.
And they're all double stuff. Like
Yeah.
it's all.
Yeah.
Like, it's not just one item per box. It's
And,
like all.
and
the
Friday,
shit.
the big giant box with an engine in it shows up.
That is so
Woo!
exciting.
Actually, one of you guys, whoever draws the short straw, gets to drive up to CBM and get it.
Oh, that's definitely.
Should we
Short straw, can I
Rochambeau
get-
for it right now?
Wait,
right
CBM's in Temecula. Oh, I'll go.
No, it's not Temecula.
No, it's
Yeah, they are.
Really?
Tennessee,
Ready?
Temecula.
is it
Paris?
Paris?
It's somewhere around
Riverside?
there.
Who cares? The listeners don't care where it is.
Lysalia?
They care about us.
Can I bring the Beamer up there?
Shut up.
Here's what we'll do. We'll
You
bring the
still
Beamer
want to
up
buy
there.
a CBM motor?
No, absolutely not. But I'm going to take one. We're gonna just have them put that one in. They're gonna have that put in the Beamer, and then I take the motor out of my car and I give it to him. He
No,
doesn't
you
even
put the
know.
383 in your car because your
Oh
shit
my god, I would
sucks,
so do that, dude.
right?
I don't even care about drivability at that point. It's just it's all
Well,
gone.
honestly, like yes, this is a pretty hopped up, motor. It's gonna go for a long
Where's
time,
Colton?
but
Oh.
who's Colton? Oh, like last season's Bachelor. I don't know where he ended up. I don't even think he married anybody.
No,
You're-
dummy.
Are we Rochambeauing right now?
Yeah, we ready? Best 2 out of 3.
Rock paper
Well,
scissors.
if you lose, you're out, right?
Is it on the?
Riverside. It's an hour and 45 from here.
All right. It's rock, paper, scissors, shoot.
Yes.
Okay,
All
go.
right, ready?
Ready?
Rock, paper, scissors, shoot.
Everybody.
Rock, paper, scissors, shoot. Rock, paper, scissors, shoot.
Go!
Wow.
Okay.
So
Hunsinger's out. It's between Russo and James.
It's funny because I have the closest
We,
drive.
by the way, that was 3 of us doing
all
the
doing
same thing.
scissors and paper.
Yeah, that was crazy.
I just went through the 3, man.
We're on a level here.
Shit.
All right, you guys.
All right.
Shoot it out.
Best 2 out of 3 between us.
Yep.
All right, you ready? Rock, paper, scissors, shoot. Rock, paper, scissors, shoot. Rock, paper, scissors, shoot. Rock, paper, scissors, shoot. Yes.
It's like Russo's driving to
Oh,
Riverside.
with the death
No,
wobble.
no, no. That
mobile.
was 1 win for me, 1 win for him.
Oh,
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, okay,
I
so
did-
we
I
got
thought
one
the
more?
same
You
thing.
guys aren't. You guys need to call out this.
are we paying attention?
The listeners cannot
I'm
see.
sorry. I was on my Instagram when you were doing
Okay,
that.
so Jake has 1, James has 1, and I have 1.
Okay, you guys ready? Rock, paper, scissors, shoot. Oh, shh.
So quick.
Well, I
And
hate to
it-
break it to you, James, but I need you to finish that roll cage, so we're going to have Kenny do it.
Hey, sick. I'm
You
so
know,
excited.
secretly we're all like, oh, I'll drive up to Riverside. That sounds nice.
I just thought about it. I'm like, man, there's no traffic. I'm okay.
I revived by the
What else are we
border
doing in that
checkpoint.
car? Oh, all new wiring, bumper to bumper, all
Yep.
brand new wiring,
New
new
upholstery.
dash gauges,
Yep.
all new upholstery, changing it from black to white.
Oh, really?
it's gone
That's
to white.
hot. Cocaine chic. We call that the cocaine chic special.
So
Yeah,
we're
there
also
you go.
changing a lot of trim pieces too, because I don't know if I think so. It has Z28 trim right now, and I think he wants to go with more of an RS look. I know it's.
Yeah, we're doing the flappy front headlights,
Hideaways.
Yeah, we changed
the
the
hideaways.
the rear tail lights. There's one that has there are 3 separate sections, but there's one chrome piece along the center. We took that out. I don't know if that's a Z28 thing, and then we put the ones that are all separate. 3 separate segments.
Oh, I
Basically,
see what you mean.
basically, the main reason is that the original reverse lights that would have come on that car
Got it. Yeah.
are in a place where you would have to cut through the body to install them because they were taken out at some point,
Mhm.
and he didn't want to cut through the body on this and have to do repaint. So he bought the tail lights with the integrated reverse lights in them.
Got it. Got it.
Not exactly correct for the car, but this car is a resto mod. We're not going for that. We're going for what looks good.
And he's all
Yep.
buying, brand new, super nice parts too. So
Yeah.
it's coming together real
This
well.
is legit. This car will be at Barrett Jackson
Yeah.
in January,
And we're
which
going.
yeah, I can afford to go for the one day it's at the auction.
Mhm.
The
That's-
thing goes on for a week,
That's wild.
Yeah.
and they're just
Scottsdale's crazy,
cranking
man.
cars across that block for a whole
Yeah.
week. That's crazy.
I'm
day
really
and night.
curious. I'm really curious to see what it's like going to one of those shows because I've always watched that on TV. Like,
Have you been to Scottsdale before?
Never.
Have you been to Scottsdale? Scottsdale?
No, but my buddy
Yes, yeah.
lives there.
Who?
My buddy Tyler, who's my roommate in Portland.
Oh, I've heard these stories. Have you been to Scottsdale?
No, never been there. Try
That's
to
what I'm
avoid
saying.
it.
It's pretty.
I'm
It's
for
actually
sure-
Isn't it
like-
full of old people?
old people and rich people.
It's the
So I'd
neat.
blend in.
It's like
on the
the
old
up
side.
and coming Arizona area,
Yeah.
which as far as like an up and coming Arizona area goes, I'm like, yeah, I'll hard pass on that.
you know, actually,
right?
Mike Tyson lives there with over 300 pigeons.
Let's be honest. Mike Tyson has a home there.
No, he lives there.
I'm sure he has homes in lots of places.
I think that you are getting these facts from a unreliable source.
Wikipedia.
Yeah, it's on Wikipedia. It's got to be true.
Helping students everywhere.
Beautiful. Personal project updates. Make it quick. We've talked about our personal projects.
We never went over Jake's project.
Oh, I mean, yeah, we can at least get into some technical details of what we actually did. We also have video of this, but like, let's give Jake. I want you to just blow me away, buddy.
Blow you away. Okay. So,
I built a car.
Okay, well, and it was sick.
So my original thing was I got these nice radius arms, and I was gonna do a solid axle swap. I picked up a Dana 30 high pinion, was gonna do the whole Super 30 chromoly shafts, trust, blah 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 thing. Realized it really wasn't the way I wanted to go, and with the F100 project coming along, I didn't want to, I guess, make my rig not run for a long enough, well, whatever period of time it would have taken, to install that axle. So I decided I was going to go the route of somewhat IFS.
What?
IFES?
IFS. Somewhat of a IFS, like mid-travel kit, an independent front suspension kit. So that way I didn't have to trim anything off or do any major modifications, and it could all be, either reversed, which is never, ever, ever going to happen because it can't be. But in the original part, it was going to somewhat be reversible. So I took the upper control arms off because the ball joint is the limiting factor for down travel. And then also, it's really not. My bad. Back up. CV angle, really? How about you turn your shit off, Jake Russo? Sorry. The limiting factor is the CV angle, right? So
The first limiting factor.
the first limiting factor. So
That's what
that-
you're always looking at when you're trying to get more travel out of a vehicle.
is what's going to max out?
What's-
What can't handle more
What is
angle?
stopping me?
What's stopping me? The shock's too short, blah, blah, blah. Whatever it is. Torsion bars suck. That thing cornered like garbage.
It
And
did.
we
It was bad.
So we swapped that to coilovers and got rid of all that shit. And it drives great now. Drove it up to Big Bear with no sway bars, and the thing stayed on the road, so that's good. Then I figured
It rode great.
it rode great.
I feel like the spring rate, I don't know how to describe it, but the torsions were just so sloppy.
Yeah.
And I feel like it's just such a linear jounce now. When you hit these big G out bumps on the freeway or whatever, it just feels super solid. I mean,
Yeah,
I don't know
no,
if
I
it's the valving
agree.
in the shocks or
The
if it's the actual spring rates, but it
it's-
feels super good.
It's great. And so the coilovers made a big difference. So the CV angle, back to that. They wouldn't go anymore. Honestly, they may be an inch past what your standard, I don't know, I think ride height, I was literally maybe 3 inches of up travel and then 2 inches of down travel, and past those 2 inches, that the standard, the OEM numbers were pretty much those are the limits. Whereas some of the Toyotas, you can get away with some more. You put an upper control arm, the Bilstein, 5100s or whatever on there, and you can get a couple more inches or 2 more inches of travel, and it really makes the difference. But on this guy, the CV, because the axles are so short, like the Toyotas have longer axles, so a little bit less angle and a better inner joint, whereas these are those shitty tripod ones. Actually, I think that the Toyotas are the same, but
Yeah.
they're still just a better joint.
I mean, you
And-
brought up something that I think is kind of a what's the word I'm looking for? An enigma, like a mysterious that you need to have up travel and down travel
Yeah.
and ground clearance on both. Like this is what you're trying to balance out through the whole thing. And lots of people think that just because their truck is tall, that's far off the ground, that it's going to crawl well.
Yeah, absolutely. That's very true.
But that's not necessarily true. Like you can have a car that looks relatively stuffed, but if it articulates, and there's a difference, they're like articulation is different than travel.
Yeah.
And then some people get confused when you use the word cycle. You're like, it cycles through the travel. Anyway, you want to fill holes and you want to go over things. And the whole point is to keep the vehicle level while you do this stuff. And not a lot of people think about that. But, I mean, we were out there, and one of the things that I thought was really interesting was we were out there with Ian from Wheel Every Weekend, and he ran we called it the hard part on once we entered John Bull. And he goes up, and it's super crazy. It's very off camber, like super slanted, and there's rocks, and they're throwing him over. And he swears by the 1-tons under his truck because he's like, dude, those 1-tons will glue you to the ground. Like, you can't flip a 1-ton over if you're just like...
Because they're so fucking heavy?
Yeah, because they're so heavy. They, like, hold you on the ground. Because he was so sideways, and he was even going up, and I was like, oh, my God. And he's like, it's fine. We're good. But his truck articulates really well. And so, you know, one is stuffed, one's all the way down, the rear is square, and you're just like, that's perfect, as opposed to some guy who might have more ground clearance than him, but when he hits a rock just on the flat and it raises the car, you know, 3 feet, you're at 60 degrees now. 60? No, that's wrong. No, that'd be crazy.
That'd be pretty crazy.
Yeah, 60 degrees. You're just like, no, that's not good because you didn't absorb it. You're just driving over it. So
yeah.
Get that through your head.
I think
people.
that makes sense, and you see it a lot with straight axle swaps, right? Especially leaf sprung straight axle swaps, unless it's properly sprung, which a lot of the time I feel like it's not. But you see it a lot, and it's like just a super high,
super
leaf
arc
sprung.
spring.
Yep.
There's zero down travel,
and it's great. You get the clearance on the body, but it's not exactly the best thing for crawling, I don't think.
Or your spine.
Or your spine, really, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you can do it, right? Like we all know from Ken, watching him do the Rubicon with his Scout, which is super tall, lots of arc in the spring. It can be done, but Ken, you know, he admits that, you know,
got to work for it.
He had to work for it. He had to earn it, right? And he took a lot of body damage because the body's getting like thrown side to side, right? So we did some recent work on his Scout, and we got the front spring was nice and flat. Unfortunately, we ran into some tie rod clearance issues with oil pans, and we had to go to a different setup to get through this weekend. But ultimately, I think Ken is wanting to go with, if you're going to have leaf springs all the way around, you want your leaf springs flat, right? Because then your leaf spring can move up and it can move down, and you can get that really good. Now, I'm sure somebody at Deaver or somebody who's down is going to be like, oh, well, you're can do
stupid.
This, you're dumb, you know what you're talking about. I don't know what I'm talking about. I'm not an expert in leaf springs. All I know is that when I'm been in vehicles that have flat leaf springs, they off-road way fucking better.
I mean,
way better.
Just take a look at like one of my favorite examples is Giants. It's called the Link Killer leaf pack.
Yeah.
And like what does it pull? 20 inches, something like that.
It's ridiculous.
And that thing moves. You would not even think it's a pack you can buy. It's got like 72-inch long.
They put them on
Chevy.
Rangers. It's not really
Devers.
generic, I believe.
Yeah.
I
you
don't
can put
know.
it on anything, and then it comes with a triple bypass.
Given the fact that all the cheaper pre-runners are the guys who just didn't want to go buy Devers. They all do the Chevy 63 inch.
I thought they were 70.
Were they 70 inch?
I thought they were 73.
I don't even know.
There is a 63-inch Chevy Leaf that's like pretty generic with Toyotas and stuff, I believe.
And you can build your own leaf pack like that too.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Is like the Leaf Killer. I feel like is like
Link Killer.
The Link Killer.
Yeah.
My bad. Is the top of the food chain. It's just badass.
It is like look.
And when that's installed, how much arc does it have?
Not a lot.
Relatively.
It has
right?
some arc for sure.
Oh, yeah.
It definitely has arc, but it's not like woo.
Yeah.
It's sitting there, but yeah, just watch one of those go through the whoops and then like rethink your life.
Right.
You're like, oh wait, I think I actually can go. And plus, while we're on the subject, leaf springs are less expensive.
Yeah, absolutely.
Super cheap.
And they're easier to work with for sure.
Yeah.
You don't have to worry about,
You want to say something about the Scout, don't you?
Caster,
no, it's not the Scout.
caster, camber, blah, 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 blah. It's like, you have leaf springs, put different ones in, make sure the shackle angle is good. That's the craziest
There's a science to it, though.
You're like, what's the shackle angle? And everybody's going,
what do you mean?
What should it be?
Tim, what the fuck?
What's a
is
shackle angle?
How long is it supposed to be? I remember I read something that Ian Wheel Every Weekend had posted, and it was like the science of how they arc leaf springs and make them, correct for a vehicle. It was a lot more in depth than I had expected. I thought it was like just like a normal spring, like
Right.
oh, it's this amount of inch pounds, for or foot pounds to compress this guy, but no,
Yeah.
it was way different.
There's quite a bit to think about when it comes to leaf springs opposed to a 4-link, right? Like you have your 4-link, and that's even better. I mean, the YJ? Why'd those go when they went to the TJ? They went to a 4-link in the front, right?
And
There's
Well,
a
no, they
reason
got
for
rid
front
of
and back.
all leaf springs.
Yeah,
the
all leaf
YJs were
springs.
leaf springs front and rear. TJ, they got rid of it all and went to 4-link.
I would assume
'Cause
there's a
it's
reason for
superior.
that. Like it's a lot more complicated to set up. If you had a bare frame and you wanted either or, chances are you're going to go with the leaf spring just from ease of install, right?
Yeah.
But I think what you get in the long run out of doing a 4-link is super proper. But then again, it is more expensive, right?
So your driveline angles stay super consistent with 4-links
Yeah.
and 3-links. You can plan for stuff better.
Mhm.
Less bump steer, I would imagine,
Yeah.
because you're not running
So it's a better geometry, right? So I get
Yeah.
that the leaf springs are cheaper, but I don't see many YJ Jeeps going 60 miles an hour through the whoops. So
At all.
Well, that's true.
so if you're a Jeep and you're rock crawling, then yes, you can make a leaf spring package work high speed, and you can make a leaf spring package work slow speed. Again, it's like we were talking about earlier, right? With the cars, it's you want the turbo V6 or do you want the normally aspirated V8? Like there's so many options out there, and there's no real wrong or right answer, right? It's just
about how much money you have, everybody.
all it comes down to is
really
how
is.
much money do you have and how much time are you willing to spend to get what you want. Everything is a compromise.
Yeah. Because are you going to go get some springs off a pickup truck from the junkyard and try and retrofit those?
Or are you going to drive it in here, hand me a blank check, and say, get after it? And then we'll just do whatever we
You're
want.
going to go coilovers. Like, there's
And-
so many variants to what you can do. It's like, are you going to go Heimed steering rods and this and that? It's like,
I just want
sky's the
people to
limit.
know the different, like all of the. We always check each other when somebody comes into the shop and they got a new idea of a project or a project like on their current project. They're like, I want to do this. This is what I'm thinking. And then all day the other guys will come up and be like, yeah, but have you thought about this yet? Like, have you thought about
all
this
day
yet?
long. All
Like,
day long.
Because that's how you have to do. You have to work. You have to work from the beginning product or the end product that
Yeah.
you want, and then you work backwards. And you're like, how many things does that affect, and in what way? What do you have to replace? What do you have to do? Like,
Yeah.
I just want like people to know how to build cars. Because the more people who know how to build cars, the more people will realize that like it's not there or understand how cars are built rather. The more people will be like, okay, well this isn't that hard, and you become more informed, and you're not just going to ORW and buying what the guy tells you to buy. Not that guy's going to tell you to buy the wrong stuff, but like
He has an idea in his head of like, yes, you're going to get a leveling kit, you're going to get 35s, you're going to get this,
Yeah,
you're going to
yeah,
get that, and you're done.
when
right?
realistically you might have a different idea. You might want to do something original or classic or whatever it is, and he's just going to say, hey, this is the standard right now, like do this and you're good. Which, by the way, sometimes it turns out the standard isn't really what's up.
Which is kind of what sets Bent Motorsports apart a little bit is that I know that I struggle with this because from a business plan standpoint, probably not the best business plan. And I've already had a lot of people analyze my business and tell me I'm doing it wrong. And those other places are super successful because they sell parts, they sell kits, they get a lot of vehicles through their shop, and they pump a lot of vehicles out, and that's good for business, right? You make money. But people come in here, and all four of us are outside looking at the project going, okay, what are all the options?
Yeah.
And then we stand up there and we talk to the customer. What are you really going to do with this? What are you really going to go out and do? What are your plans over the next 5 years of doing, like if it's a Jeep? Do you want to set up stages of builds so that we don't go backwards anywhere, so that when you do upgrade to 35s or 37s, we're not taking other parts off? And we really think about it, and we really want your project to be badass and done the right way for what you want to
in
do.
the right order too.
And so because it's the same thing we do with our projects, right?
Totally. Efficiency.
Yeah, we're going through it in our heads and we're talking about it with each other and making sure it's the right thing. So we really care about your project. We're not just going to say, "Oh, you want 35s? Great. We'll just
Throw them on there.
just throw a donut lift on
Yeah.
there and you're good to go." Yay,
Well, Like shameless plug for ourselves, but for real.
That's what I'm trying to say. It's hard to say that. I'm trying not to give us an attaboy, right? Like pat ourselves on the back,
But God, are we good?
There's actually the cult. Like in the shop, there's nothing that irks us more than when we have to do something the wrong way because somebody
That's absolutely
because
true.
when somebody asks for it that way,
God.
the customer's always right. You know, if you want it that way, we will do that way for sure.
right, and that's okay too. We understand that people have a way that they want to do it, as long as we've given you our opinion, and then you still get to make the choice.
Yeah.
And we're gonna be sad about it. You know, I mean, I'll cry a little bit when I go to bed, but
Here, come in and like grab a beer out of the fridge and head out into the shop and be like, hey, so I got this project, and actually talk to everybody and see what everybody thinks, and then maybe make your decision.
then make a decision.
You might learn.
No hard feelings
Don't-
either.
don't-
if you don't
for
take our,
sure-
if you don't take our advice, that's fine.
Yeah, totally.
Absolutely
You're
fine.
like, you guys suck.
For sure.
Put 40s on my stock truck, and we're
You're
like,
a
whatever,
dick.
dude. Sounds sick. You should buy Methods. They're awesome. Everybody knows Methods are the best. They look great.
Heaven forbid you go with some Walker Evans. Those are garbage.
Those are garbage.
Who is that guy?
It's Methods or it's Outlaw 2s. That's what you do.
or Dick Sapecki.
Or the what is it? KMC Rockstar.
Rockstar.
Oh, the
Alcoa 8-hole.
Woohoo!
You know
can't go wrong with that.
You know what my favorite is though is that I feel like every single vehicle that comes in here to get something done, all of us have some sort of ideal build that they would do to that specific vehicle. Right?
That's true.
Like,
That's true. There's a lot of vehicles that have come in where we've all decided this is what we should do, and there are 4 different complete builds in our.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's like
Like the MR2, I would take that bitch straight to the crusher.
Yeah.
What a waste.
5 Series BMW, same thing.
Right to the crunch.
I hate you. You're the worst.
Pull off the wheels, steal the emblem, straight to the crusher.
The MR2 is a feat of modern engineering, and there's nothing else like it.
It is a comfortable car, and I feel like that is the
So
race car
cool.
position that you are in. When
It's
you
a
get
go
that car.
kart. It
And-
weighs like 1,600 pounds.
Ugh.
Are you kidding? You could put a lawnmower motor in it and be fast.
LS4. Telling you, easy to find, easy to put in there.
Guys,
Came out of Impalas.
I
Already
know,
has,
guys.
a
There's 100.
transmission.
There's 120 of you out there. All right.
There's 120 listeners out there. Listen up
Per
closely.
week.
This is all I'm saying is like
He's really close to the microphone. Explain for them.
we really want to build a rally MR2 and race it. And you guys can come to the race and we'll paint all of your faces on the MR2. We will do this. There will be an MR2 with everybody who donated to it with their faces on it. That will be the livery. Will be your face will be on a race car.
Yep.
The more money you donate, the bigger,
bigger
your face.
your
The
is.
bigger your face is.
You could potentially have
could get
the
the whole
entire
hood.
car as one face.
Yeah.
You could have the whole hood.
You could be the
David.
face of success.
I think
and
David
it's-
got the hood spot. You could be outbid.
I hope I get outbid.
You can get the gas cap, hopefully. That's the ideal goal, right?
Oh yeah, cover that guy up.
I want mine to be on the inside of the windshield looking at James.
That's
kind of in the way, but it looks good. Something like that.
That's Ricky Bobby.
Big Newtons.
Bobby.
Ricky Bobby. I can't see.
This is totally
God, that's
inconvenient.
such a good movie. Anyway, yeah, come in and talk to us. We love talking about cars. Literally, it's all we talk about. Actually, that's not true. We do talk about other stuff, but
Surfing.
yeah.
Yeah.
Bet you didn't know Bent Motorsports surfs.
Yeah.
Or fished, because we don't.
Got that new board.
Well, you guys got all those fancy fishing poles over there, but I never see him leave their.
You know what? We were
Stand.
prepping for Big Bear. Okay.
There's
That's true.
There's currently a wetsuit drip drying in the lobby here.
It's already pretty much dry. It's not dripping anymore. It's
There's a set of
neoprene.
wheels getting redone.
Yeah. Hey, we just cleaned
All
that
right.
shit up. It looks so
Yeah,
much
come into
better
Bent
over there.
Motorsports
There's
and
a
go to
jet ski
Jake's
motor
realm.
sitting
You can
there.
go. It's like a Pomona swap meet in there.
No,
Yeah,
dude, it's
baby.
like Bed Bath and Beyond. We're the fucking Beyond part, man.
That's what they send you.
Anything you
Beyond,
want. All,
alright.
Motorsports, all sports.
All right. David, give me your new
Life ideologies.
Yeah, right. I want to know. I already know his life ideologies.
Oh,
We've
yeah,
already
I
got
don't
into
want
this.
to hear that again.
Uh,
It's bad.
David, what'd you learn about? What'd you learn new this week?
I learned that James can fabricate.
Oh, yeah. Thanks.
I mean, we always talked about it, but
shout out to
you got to-
Susie Sibian over here.
you got to do the family cage for the Willies, and it turned out amazing.
I was talking about that actually before, and if nobody knows, I do like photo video, everybody knows. Come on. The 120 people that listen, by the way, we keep dropping that number because I feel fancy when I say it.
Low water media up in here.
I first learned to trade in the trade because I was smart and I was like, I should learn to trade so I don't have to keep going back to construction. Not that there's anything wrong with construction, but it's hard as all hell. It's hot out there. It's hot outside, boys.
A lot of working you gotta do.
And so I learned how to weld and fabricate, and then I like even had my own like mini business for a while. But yeah, all these years later, I'm like kicking back on it, and Dave's like, "Hey, how about you make a cage?" And I'm like, "I can do this. We can definitely do this," which has been fun because it's problem. I love it. It's problem solving. It's all kinds of good stuff.
It's good stuff.
That's not really the question I was asking, but thanks, Dave.
So you want to know what I learned new?
Yeah.
If I learned something new.
We're always learning new stuff every single week.
Ugh, what did I learn?
Jake?
What did I learn new? Actually, you helped a lot just reading about bedding tubes and shit, measurements, and just being accurate. All your kind of schooling and practice that you've been doing with that this week kind of reflected. So
Yeah, it was better than my advice to him. Just put a fucking bend in it right there, and then
like,
weld the thing.
Bend it right there.
Keep trimming until it fits, man.
Can you just make it look like that one?
Yeah.
Perfect.
Russo?
What did I learn, or what did?
Yeah, give me your top fact this week.
Oh man.
Come on, you guys are on the forums. Get out of here. You learned something.
No.
Defender
just
e-brakes
nothing.
suck.
Defender e-brakes don't work. Transmission controllers don't work. Transmission computers don't talk to the transmission controller.
And you got to wire it to the motor.
Yeah, and I got to wire it to the motor. It's just a whole.
It's all bullshit.
shit
We're
show.
not
Yep.
doing that.
Yeah.
I'm vetoing that.
I like the way you think.
Neat.
What did you learn, James?
I mean, I'll be honest. It's an old topic, but it's a fresh take. One UZs can make almost 800 horsepower off of a turbocharger, and E85. You don't have to touch the bottom end. And everybody, this is an engine which is niche, and again we've talked about it, but people are like, it doesn't make power, it doesn't do that, it doesn't do this, it's not good, it's this blah 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 blah. And
That
I'm like,
sounds good.
800 horsepower, 800 foot-pounds of torque, E85 in a turbo. Literally go home.
Oh, sorry. Peterbilt Fab from across the way decided to stick his grubby little fucking rat claws in here. Shout out to you, Pete.
So, Jake, how much were they squeezing out of 1.8 liter Miatas? Weren't they getting 300?
This was a turbo Miata motor that wasn't bored over, just like properly. I'm
Whose was
assuming
it?
this was a shop over in Vista that built this thing, and it was properly like knife edge crank. You know, like they really did a lot of what do they call it? Windage
Windage
trays.
tray.
And
You don't know what you're talking about.
I do.
Tell me,
did-
tell me how much power.
They did
It
a lot
made-
of
it
windage
made-
tray and
It made over 400 horsepower turboed,
Over 400 horsepower.
and that was out of a
So-
1.8 liter.
1.8 liter. How many liters
Miata.
is the one you see?
4.0. So you can double it.
That
That makes
matches up. It
sense.
lines
It's
up.
all about how the head flows, right? I mean,
How
It's
long?
not-
How long?
It's not all about how the head
How
flows.
not,
long will
but
that
that has a
engine last?
huge
How
part.
long will that engine last? The one you see.
The example that I saw.
Yeah.
This guy says that he was pushing like 20 or 30. He's been pushing 15 plus pounds of boost since.
On pump gas?
No, on E85.
Oh, E85, 25 pounds of boost. So that car's a
fast as fuck.
10,000 mile motor if you're on it all the time.
Which is like whatever, you know? And this guy.
Which is like whatever. Yeah, I mean,
Tell me.
how much does it cost to build that
Show
motor?
me another 800 horsepower motor that goes more than 10,000 miles, right?
Oh no, they're out there.
absolutely.
I mean,
Glamis
What's
cars.
What's the brand new Z06 at?
Exactly. How much does that motor cost?
How much does the motor cost you want to build?
I mean, a turbo setup, what, 3 to 5 grand?
Yeah.
$3 to $5 grand on top of everything else.
Well, what else is there? You
Yeah,
just
what
said
else
There's
is
head
there?
studs.
This
There's
is-
head milling. There's
No, none of that.
computers,
You don't have
there's-
to open the thing up.
Yeah,
You're
but you
saying
got to
it'll
put
survive
head
on the
gaskets.
bottom end that's already there, right?
Yeah, it'll survive.
What
on the
about head
bottom end, good.
gaskets and studs?
Okay.
Then you got to get the head.
I think we need
machine.
to do this experiment.
Put a head gasket.
another
We're gonna.
$1,000.
Okay, that's the
Okay.
spoiler alert. We're doing this unless
What
somebody.
about the ECU?
Jesus fucking Christ.
Go
I'm
home.
being negative Nancy right here.
Yeah, you
Go
are.
ahead.
For $4,000, I bet you could do it.
Probably, yeah. On top of
you
the
could
motor.
for sure do it.
I know. If you were to actually put in like Mega Squirt, or you went to the do-it-yourself DIY.
There's the Mega Squirt DIY.
So do the Mega Squirt DIY. I'm sure somebody has they have pinouts for every, because I was looking for one for the 2.3 turbo.
Ooh, there's a new one. Sorry.
But yeah, totally. I understand what you're saying. But you actually you solder the board, and it tells you where to wire all the stuff, where to pin it, where everything goes. They have little pretty much build outs for each. Here's what parts you need, so you don't have to buy all the unnecessary shit that you're not going to get with if you just bought a general Mega Squirt already pre-built ECU. It's pretty sweet. Do it DIY.
DIY auto tune.
No, plug and play.
The new guys on the block.
Maybe.
Who's the new guys, James?
New guys on the block are Link ECU.
Oh, Link?
Yeah.
Link's been around though, right?
I mean, I just heard about them, and everybody's like, "Oh, Mega Squirt, this, that," and like now I've seen a couple of people posting Link stuff, and I'm just like,
are they gonna be at SEMA?
I mean, probably.
Let's put it on the list of people to visit.
Yeah, dude, they seem rad. I looked at their stuff, like they're
Right
making it
next to
happen.
Billy Boat mufflers.
Yeah,
Billy
you can
Boat.
return that shit.
But all right, well, we all learned something new.
Well, I didn't learn anything
No,
new.
David's too old to learn.
David
things.
learned that he could have 3 employees in 1 week.
I learned that I'm not going to get paid this week because I added an employee. So I just give that money up.
When's the last time you got paid?
October of last year.
Exactly. So it really doesn't change anything.
So we're at a year now. Yay! We should have an anniversary lunch.
Sick.
I'll even buy for you.
Potential failure anniversary. Got it.
Hey, if your expenses equal 0, then you're done.
That's it.
You're good.
But I love what I
Yeah.
do. I come to work and I get to play with cars, and you guys make me feel like shit. So it's good for my ego.
Yeah, keep it down on the floor.
Yeah, it's good for me.
780.
What
That's ridiculous. So I'm looking at this guy's page, because when you hear numbers like that, you think about it, and it's like everything else, it's all bullshit, Like, you know what? Honestly, this guy looks like it's a pretty nice build, and a lot of people don't actually put the time and effort into builds that aren't nice, or I don't know. I see a lot of vice versa. Like, you got this guy with polished chrome intake tubing and all this
Shout out,
fancy shit.
Rare Fab is the people who did the turbo setup, so they're the real heroes here.
It's very well done, and there's a lot to it. And this guy seems like he's put his shit together. But yeah, kid has been boosting 15 plus since 2015. Full boost under 3,800 RPM, like 780 wheel horsepower and 700 G's. Head studs, valve springs, and what's MLS?
It's head gasket.
Multi-layer.
Say it.
Multi-layer system.
What's the ones where they cut in, they mill into the top of the head, and they mill into the
Fire ring?
Is that a fire ring?
Or no?
I don't know.
Maybe it's a fire pin.
No, they put a ring, so you set in a
It's
gap.
a thing. People love talking BS on that motor.
No, yeah, definitely.
Peter, case in point, who walked in here for 5 seconds, heard us say something, and then walked out and was like, BS.
Hey.
Why? Because it's not an LS? Like, go home.
I believe it.
he's a
I mean, I
chud.
know it's legit.
They're all
I just don't
chuds.
always worry about. I want something that's that 800 horsepower that I can start every day.
Well, I don't think you go
And drive
800.
around.
No, you don't go 800 horsepower and start every day and drive it around.
You
That's
know
what
what?
I want though.
You know what started this whole topic, I think?
What's that?
Was that the other day we were coming back from
nice
lunch, and I was
turbo.
like, James, would you build the Beamer to be a naturally aspirated monster, like 500 horsepower, all naturally aspirated, or would you turbo and get the same amount of power? As the motor is right now, but just build the turbo setup. Like, which one would it be?
Turbo, because I'm a hoon.
Exactly.
I hate using that word, but I don't know. Everybody knows what it means.
Yeah. What are you watching?
This
a
dude
video?
has videos of him smoking C7 Corvettes. Like, he smokes every car out there.
I'm trying to see if he'll do a poll, because they sound like freaking F1 cars when they're in the RPMs. Like, they sound really good. I remember doing donuts in the LS400 and just being like, this thing sounds like crazy.
We'll show you guys what a 1
I wonder
will
what
do.
I wonder what makes it sound different.
One day.
I don't.
Full boost.
Look at that thing.
Yes.
Wow.
It's pretty rad. So let's see the numbers.
I'm aroused.
AFR, air fuel. Okay.
Well,
I just wanted to see if they would show an actual. Oh, you got power right there. Come on, zoom in on it. I can't see anything.
this is
It's devolving into boys' time.
Sorry.
this is going away quickly. Anyways, well, thanks for listening, all 120 of you out there.
Hey,
Or
thanks for
per week.
120.
probably 20 by now, but we appreciate it either way.
It's Probably one of our best put together podcasts.
Yeah, well, guys, we're so smooth that time.
So smooth.
Clockwork.
You guys are awesome.
We got to get Ivan back. That son of a bitch.
He has
That's
cars
on the
for
beach.
you, your girlfriend, your mom.
He's got them all. I haven't been to his car lot in a while. We should hit him up.
771 and 773. That's it. 773 horsepower.
This has been the Bent Motorsports Podcast. Thanks for listening in. Be sure to give us a follow on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, and YouTube at Bent Motorsports. Stay updated on the latest happenings, future projects, videos, events here at the shop. Remember, guys, at Bent Motorsports, bits in stock, we've got it.